Welcome to part 2 of line plots. If you haven't watched part 1, you might want to stop viewing this one and go back and watch that one. We're going to go through one more problem using a line plot, and this is going to be another problem that has fractions. I think in real life, when I've seen line plots, they normally are whole numbers, but for whatever reason, your textbook wants to give us lots of practice with fractions. I am on page 384. If you have your textbook and want to join me on that page, I'm going to read problem number 6. For 10 days, Mario measured the amount of food that his cat, Toby, ate. The amounts he recorded are shown in the table at right. Graph the results on the line plot. So I don't know why Mario really cares how much his cat ate every day. Maybe he's trying to figure out how much he has left, and it's the COVID-19 virus, and he's staying home, and he's wondering if he has enough to make it till the next time he goes to the grocery store. Or maybe he's going on vacation and he wants to tell whoever's taking care of his cat how much to feed the cat every day. In any case, we're going to record his data, and we're going to use this chart right here. The numbers, the smallest number is 1/4, and they go down getting bigger and bigger. So the biggest number is 1/4. You might remember from our last video that it doesn't really matter what number you start with on the line plot. I don't really like that they did arrows on either end, because this isn't going to be something that's going to go on forever. There is a limit to how much Toby is going to eat every day. So I see the smallest unit there is eighths, and I'm going to kind of try to go by 1/8. Let's see what happens if we start with eighths. So on this very first line right here, I am going to write 1/8. The next line would be 2/8, and another name for 2/8 is 1/4. 3/8, 4/8, which is really the same as 1/2, 5/8, and then 6/8 can be simplified to 3/4. So I actually ended up with an extra line there. I'm supposed to put the title of the line plot on that blue line, and I didn't have enough room, so I'm going to write it underneath there while I'm thinking about it. And I'm just going to call this Toby's Daily Food. If you wanted to, behind there, you could put what you're measuring it in. In this case, it's cups, just so that the person who's looking at it doesn't think that it's ounces or grams or some other unit. All right, so the first thing we have is we have 2 1/4, and I'm just going to use X's. Again, remember, you could do whatever you want. You could do little pieces of cat food if you're artistic. 3/8, there was 1 there. There were 3 1/2. There, this is 6, I should say 8. Okay, sorry about that. 3 5/8, and 1 3/4. All right, what's the first question we have to answer is, what's the total amount of food Toby ate over those 10 days? Explain how you got your answer. All right, I am going to shift our screen a little bit. You think about how you're going to do that while I pause for a moment. Now, total means you're going to add it up. So we're going to add up all of these numbers. So I have 2 1/4. So I have to add 1/4 plus 1/4, which is going to give me 2/4 or 1/2. I notice some of these other numbers are expressed as eighths. I'm going to switch everything over to eighths just so that I have the same denominator. So if you're okay with that, I'm going to say that this 1/2 is the same as 4/8. I have 1 3/8. Now I've got 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. That would give me 1 1/2, or 1 4/8. I have 3 5/8. So 5/8 plus 5/8 plus 5/8 is really 15/8. And we can simplify 15/8 to 8 goes into 15 1, and there would be 7 left over. So 1 7/8. And then the last number I have is 3/4, which is going to be the same as 6/8. And you know I'm running out of room here. Hopefully you can see that. Here, I can scroll down a little bit maybe. There you go. So I would like for you to add that up and see what you get. I'm going to wait for a few seconds and then I'll tell you what I got. All right, when I added up all of those 8s, I came up with 24 8s, which is improper. You have to divide it out. 24 8s is the same as 3 whole. And then I can't forget the 2 whole over there. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So altogether, Toby ate 5 cups of food. There's one more question I have to answer. Part B. What amount of food would Toby get each day if the total for 10 days were distributed evenly each day? So in those 10 days, he had 5 cups total. So we're going to take those 5 cups and divide them into 10 days. So remember, this line can be the divide sign. So 5 divided by 10. If you were to divide that out, you'd get a decimal of 5/10, like that. Or you could keep it as 5/10, which would be 1/2. So it would be 1/2 of a cup. So you could write it as a fraction or as a decimal. So on average, Toby gets a 1/2 cup of food every day. So who's ever taking care of Toby can know that's how much you should give him. Or if you're trying to figure out how many days you could make it through, you could see how many 1/2 cups you have left in the bag. There is one more example in your textbook. I'm not going to go through that, but if you would like to and you have your textbook home, you certainly could try it. And if you want to message me the answer, I would be happy to tell you if you're right or not. Good luck on your homework.